So there are thousands and thousands of Filipinos and Americans. They've been marshaled on the old National Road. The Japanese have started you walking north. Did you know where you were going?
Didn't know where we were going. That was one of the traumas of it. There was about 500 of us. They put us in groups. We weren't all in one big mass. So I'd say in the group I was in, there were about 500 men.
Okay.
And I think the mental trauma of the whole thing was as bad as the physical almost. We didn't know where we were going was one of the main things. When is this all going to stop? So after about 4 or 5 days, I was on about 4 or 5 days. And where are we going?
Where did the men think they were going? What were the rumors?
We didn't have any idea.
What's worse, Ben, thirst or hunger?
Thirst. Oh, thirst is much worse.
Why?
Well, you're close to death when you really get thirsty. Your mouth dries out and you start to choke, and your tongue kind of swells up, and you choke to death.
A number of men have told us that there were points along the way where they didn't think that they were going to make it, that they really
Oh,
couldn't.
yeah.
You ever feel that way?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think kept you going?
Oh, thoughts of Montana. Coming home, you know. I used to always think, you know, if anybody gets out of here, I'm going to be one of them.
A number of men have said that the rule of nature took over on the death march, that it was strictly survival of the fittest.
That was, yeah. The strong made it, but you know, there's a lot of men just as good as I am buried over there. It's just the luck had so much to do with it.
Yeah.
There's a place in O'Donnell called the Zero Ward, and that's where they used to take the ones that they thought were going to die. And they would be back in the area, so you know, they'd been laying in the barracks for a couple of days, and some of them with dysentery and malarial, and couldn't walk anymore. So they used to line them up kind of and put them out in front of the barracks, and we'd come and pick them up and take them over to the Zero Ward. But when you took a man into the Zero Ward, you know, the minute he saw the place, he gave up. There were hundreds of guys in there. And on the burial detail, we go in every morning and clean the place out. You go by and check them, and you know, this guy's alive, this guy's dead. And they were sitting there and with their mouths open and flies crawling in and out of their mouths, still alive. It was a mess.
You volunteered to help on that burial detail. Can you describe that?
We'd dig big holes where we'd bury about 30 in a hole. And we'd take the dog tags off and put one in their mouth and give another one to an officer who was trying to keep track of who died where. So all the guys buried there, most of them, if they remembered, put a dog tag in their mouth. So they identified most of those guys when they finally dug them up. But we'd put about 30 in the hole, and we'd actually get in and walk on them, trying to get them to fit in the hole. We'd stick a head down in here and just any way to get them to fit in the hole. And we didn't dig them all that deep, and sometimes we didn't get them all covered up, and there'd be a hand sticking out and a foot sticking out of the dirt. And during the night, dogs would come in and pick those guys up and eat them. And there'd be bones scattered around the area, and we put them back into the hole the next day. That sort of stuff. So it was kind of a desperate place, you know. Here you're still alive, and you didn't know when it was going to be your turn to be in the hole.